Education is a basic human right. These words, spoken by Angelina Jolie, became a lifeline for a refugee family she met during a camp visit. But how did a simple belief transform into life-changing action? In the next few minutes, you'll witness a story of hope, determination, and the power of one person's compassion to change lives forever. Get ready for a journey that will challenge your perceptions and warm your heart. The sun beat down mercilessly on the sprawling refugee camp, its austere conditions laid bare under the harsh light. Rows of makeshift shelters stretched as far as the eye could see, housing thousands of displaced families. Among them was the Ahmadi family, parents Fatima and Omar, with their 3 children Amira, Yasir, and little Layla. Each day brought new challenges for the Ahmadis. Water was scarce, food rations barely sufficient, and the children's education a distant dream. Fatima spent her days queuing for supplies, while Omar searched fruitlessly for work. The children, once bright-eyed and full of potential, now spent their days wandering aimlessly through the dusty camp alleys. It was into this bleak scene that Angelina Jolie arrived, her presence causing a stir among the camp's residents. As a United Nations Special Envoy, she had come to assess the living conditions and needs of the refugees. The Ahmadi family watched from a distance, unsure whether to approach this famous visitor. Finally, urged by their children's curiosity, Fatima and Omar cautiously made their way towards Jolie. The actress greeted them warmly, her interpreter helping bridge the language gap. As the conversation unfolded, the family's story poured out. Their flight from conflict, their struggles in the camp, and their fading hopes for the future. But it was when they spoke of their children that a spark ignited in their eyes. "We dream of our children going to school, learning to read and write," Fatima said, her voice trembling with emotion. "We want them to have the chances we never had." Jolie listened intently, her expression softening with each word. She knelt down to speak with the children, asking about their favorite subjects and what they wanted to be when they grew up. Amira, the eldest, shyly confessed her dream of becoming a doctor. As the conversation drew to a close, something had changed in Jolie's demeanor. She thanked the family for sharing their story, promising to do what she could to help. But even as she walked away, her mind was already racing with possibilities. That night, as Jolie prepared to leave the camp, the Ahmadi family's story echoed in her thoughts. Their resilience, their hopes for their children, it all struck a chord deep within her. She knew she couldn't simply walk away and forget. Something had to be done, but what? The seeds of an idea began to take root, one that would change not just the Ahmadis' lives, but Jolie's own path as well. What pushes a Hollywood superstar to trade red carpets for refugee camps? For Angelina Jolie, the answer lay in a single family's story, one that would challenge everything she thought she knew about making a difference. As her plane soared away from the refugee camp, Jolie's mind raced with thoughts of the Ahmadi family. Their resilience and hope for their children's education struck a deep chord within her. This wasn't the first time Jolie had encountered such stories, but something about the Ahmadis felt different. Jolie's journey as a humanitarian began in 2001 when she became a Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Over the years, she had visited countless camps, witnessing firsthand the struggles of displaced families. Each encounter left an indelible mark, but the Ahmadi's story sparked a new determination in her. Back home, Jolie immersed herself in research. She pored over reports on refugee education, studied successful integration programs, and analyzed the long-term impacts of sustained support. The complexity of the issue became increasingly clear, but so did the potential for meaningful change. Recognizing the need for expert guidance, Jolie reached out to professionals in refugee aid and education. She engaged in lengthy discussions, exploring various approaches to supporting families like the Ahmadis. These conversations helped shape her understanding of the challenges ahead and the strategies most likely to succeed. As her plan began to take form, Jolie focused on creating a comprehensive support system. She envisioned not just enrolling the Ahmadi children in school, but also providing resources for their parents to build sustainable livelihoods. The goal was to offer a hand up, not just a handout. However, Jolie was acutely aware of the obstacles she would face: bureaucratic hurdles, cultural differences, and the need for ongoing funding all posed significant challenges. She knew her celebrity status could draw attention to the cause, but lasting change would require persistent effort and collaboration with local organizations. Despite these challenges, Jolie's resolve only grew stronger. The image of Amira's shy smile as she shared her dream of becoming a doctor fueled Jolie's commitment. After weeks of planning and consultation, she made her decision. This wouldn't be a one-time intervention, but a long-term commitment to the Ahmadi family and the broader cause of refugee education. Weeks of planning culminated in a moment that would redefine star power. When Jolie stepped back into the Ahmadi family's life, she brought more than just hope. She carried a blueprint for transformation. The Ahmadi family's eyes widened in disbelief as Angelina Jolie returned to their corner of the refugee camp. Her unexpected reappearance sent a ripple of excitement through the dusty air. Jolie's warm smile put them at ease as she began to outline her proposed support plan, focusing primarily on education for the children. As Jolie explained the details, the family's reactions were a mix of gratitude, hope, and uncertainty. The prospect of their children receiving an education filled Fatima and Omar with joy, but questions lingered about how they would navigate this new path. Jolie reassured them, emphasizing that the plan included comprehensive support to ease their transition. The first steps were set in motion quickly. Amira, Yasir, and little Layla were enrolled in a nearby school that had experience with refugee students. The children's excitement was palpable as they received their new uniforms and school supplies, symbols of the new chapter unfolding in their lives. However, the initial days brought challenges. The Ahmadi children faced language barriers that made communication difficult. Cultural differences in the classroom setting sometimes left them feeling out of place. But with the support of dedicated teachers and language programs designed specifically for refugee children, they began to adapt and make progress. Recognizing the importance of family involvement, Jolie's plan evolved to include resources for Fatima and Omar. They were offered language classes and job training programs, empowering them to better support their children's education and improve their own prospects. This holistic approach strengthened the family unit and their ability to integrate into their new community. As weeks turned into months, milestone achievements began to accumulate. The children completed their first successful school term, their report cards showcasing not just academic progress, but also improved confidence and social skills. Amira's dream of becoming a doctor no longer seemed like a distant fantasy, but a real possibility. The Ahmadi family's transformation was gradual but undeniable. Where uncertainty once clouded their eyes, a newfound optimism now shone. They walked taller, spoke more confidently, and dared to plan for a future that extended beyond the confines of the refugee camp. Through education and support, they had found not just knowledge, but a renewed sense of purpose and hope. While the Ahmadi family found new purpose, an unexpected question arose. Could their experience reshape global refugee policies? The next chapter of this story reveals how a single family's transformation caught the attention of world leaders and challenged long-held assumptions about refugee education. As the Ahmadis embraced their new opportunities, their story began to spread through the refugee camp. Neighbors who had once viewed education as a luxury now saw it as a beacon of hope. Families started to prioritize schooling for their children, inspired by the visible changes in Amira, Yasir, and Layla's lives. The media soon caught wind of this remarkable transformation. Journalists flocked to the camp, eager to document the Ahmadi's journey from despair to hope. Their story, amplified by Angelina Jolie's involvement, brought unprecedented attention to the critical issue of refugee education. News outlets across the globe began to highlight the importance of learning opportunities for displaced children. Jolie leveraged this newfound attention to advocate for systemic change. She used her platform to push for broader support of refugee education initiatives, emphasizing the long-term benefits for both individuals and communities. Her impassioned speeches and interviews helped shift public perception, making the plight of refugee families more relatable and urgent. Government officials took notice of the growing conversation. Jolie engaged in high-level discussions with policymakers, presenting the Ahmadi's story as evidence of education's transformative power. These talks sparked debates about allocating more resources to refugee education programs and revising existing policies to better support displaced families. Inspired by the success of Jolie's personalized approach, new initiatives began to emerge. Organizations developed mentorship programs pairing refugee students with local professionals. Others created specialized curricula to address the unique needs of children who had experienced displacement and trauma. The Ahmadi family, once recipients of help, became powerful advocates themselves. Fatima and Omar shared their experiences with other parents in the camp, encouraging them to prioritize their children's education. The older children, Amira and Yasir, became role models, tutoring younger students and speaking at community gatherings about the importance of staying in school. As years passed, the long-term effects of this support became evident. The Ahmadi children excelled in their studies, with Amira on track to fulfill her dream of becoming a doctor. Their success story inspired a generation of refugee children to pursue their own aspirations, proving that with the right support, even the most challenging circumstances could be overcome. This remarkable journey demonstrated the profound impact of individual action. One family's transformation, catalyzed by Jolie's compassion, had set in motion a wave of change that reached far beyond the boundaries of a single refugee camp. It served as a powerful reminder that every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the potential to create lasting, meaningful change. The Ahmadi family's journey from despair to hope illuminates the profound impact of education and compassion. What began as a chance encounter in a refugee camp blossomed into a transformative experience, not just for one family, but for countless others. Their story reminds us that education truly is, as Angelina Jolie said, a key that unlocks the door to a brighter future for refugee children. This tale of resilience and opportunity demonstrates how targeted support can change lives. The Ahmadi children's academic progress and growing confidence show the ripple effects of investing in refugee education. Their parents' renewed sense of purpose highlights the importance of holistic family support. We all have the power to make a difference. By supporting refugee education initiatives, we can help write more stories of hope and success. Every contribution, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life and shape a better future for all.